let's do a quick test. Like, is it working?
Testing over here too. I switched mics, so I forgot to ask you if it was working.
Yeah, I'm on the
You got to
live.
work on
Yeah,
your.
yeah.
You
We're
have to
live.
do a reaction shot for the YouTube thumbnail.
What is
Dude,
that?
on YouTube, all the thumbnails are people's faces like.
We can do this one. Hello, everyone.
Go to
there's,
your.
there's 18 people watching us already. Yeah,
Oh
sorry for
no.
the delay. We've been trying to get up some technical details, figure it out. It's been the first time we are streaming through this tool. Before we were using OBS mostly. So I guess we can start. Yeah, I see that LinkedIn also works. So first of all, let me introduce you, Leo. I guess some of you already might know me, but Leo isn't like a very active part of our Slack community or forum. So yeah, maybe you can share a few words about yourself, like about you and Plasmic, your role.
Yep, I've been a product designer at Plasmic for over 5 years, working on the intricacies around a design tool like ours. More recently, it's been a smaller role, but I'm still so passionate about Plasmic that I'm still involved. Not as active on the communities, but for the designers out there, feel free to reach out. I'm a fellow designer with development chomps and would love to help out where I can.
Yeah, you are definitely a lot more technical than an average developer, I must say.
Designer, but yes.
Yes.
I hope developers are more technical.
Yeah, it would be bad for a developer not to be technical at all. Okay, so I guess we can start with us creating a project. What do you say about that? Let me share my screen. I guess we can do it like this. Yeah, so I have something in here that I can close. Close the project. Okay, perfect. So let's create a new one. It can be started from clean slate, as we will be only distracted by the things there. So what are we going to build today? We're going to build a prototype of our Plasmic community marketplace that will contain the templates and the components that our users going to share with the other people of the community. And yeah, that would be a good start. I'm not sure if we will be actually using that in production, but as a proof of concept and as an idea of a product to build, that came to us naturally. So let's first rename this to something more meaningful. And what are we going to start with? I guess first let me invite Leo to this project. Or I guess you are already present in here since we're in the same organization, right?
Yes, I can make my way there. I have, of course, someone knocking on the door. I will be back shortly. One moment.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I will share the link with Leo so far.
That was just my luck, the false alarm.
Okay. So I guess we can start with the landing page and a layout. So maybe let's start with first sharing a. No, we're actually going to start vice versa. So I guess I will be forking our Plasmic Supabase template so that we will have an ability to fetch the data within this template. I'm not sure if we will actually go there over these like an hour or two of the stream, but it's always good to lay a nice foundation for your projects. So We have a guide on on how it works, so how to set it up from beginning to the end. You can find it in the Supabase integrations page, and I will fetch it to my local environment. Clone from GitHub. It will save us a lot of time. All right, let's go. So, if you haven't seen Cursor yet or haven't heard anything about it, this is the stuff that I'm currently working at. Leo, how like have you tried something like this previously? Windsurf, Cursor?
I'm familiar more with Cursor and more recently Claude Code, which I like a lot. Cursor is a fork of VS Code that they've, and I believe Windsurf is as well.
Yeah,
Um,
both of them actually. It's very interesting to know that they just forked an existing IDE that added the AI agents into it, and it ended up being like a very nice product in the end. I'm not sure why Microsoft haven't did that, to be honest.
I think they were hoping to for Copilot to be the AI layer of VS Code, but Cursor's approach, AI first from the ground up, is I think what people are most expecting, rather than an extension like experience.
Yeah, for sure. So what I am currently doing now is that I am replacing all of the tokens that we would need during the development. So this is the Plasmic project ID that you can usually find in your URL of your project. Plasmic API token. It's always in the code, and you can just copy it. We will also need the Supabase project ID. I already have one created in here. So it's Plasmic Marketplace and Supabase Access Token. Not sure where to find that one, but I think it should be somewhere here. Project
We have
overview.
someone saying that the screen's a bit blurry. Maybe zooming in, Command plus
Uh,
will
for
will.
sure. What about now? Is it a little bit better?
I think we'll see. Maybe a few more on Cursor. It
Mhm.
could alternatively be the stream of the screen itself.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's just the zoom.
Database.
It is a bit small.
Yeah. Well, while I am setting up the environment variables, I'm not sure if that would be like extremely interesting to everyone, since this is more of a Supabase setup and it's already covered in a lot of documentations. Maybe I can switch. Maybe I can pass the screen over to you, and we can start doing something in terms of the layout. I think that like how do I do that? Can you share your screen?
Let's see. Okay. Try to make it a little wider. How's that?
Yeah, sounds and
Good. I'm
looks
in the
good.
same project as you.
Yeah, perfect.
And we weren't thinking about using AI to generate the layout, right?
Not yet. I guess we will use AI a little bit later down the road when it will come to more complex components like well, I envisioned that on the landing page we would have some sort of a component that will have a grid in it, and you will be able to render your product cards, like the templates and the components, and you will be able to filter through them using some clickable tags. And this is what we will actually implement in Cursor. And we will only implement the UX portion of it and build out the card in Plasmic so that it's uh, basically so to offload all of the UI work into the studio, and to make all of the data fetching logic and the rest of the filtering stuff working from within the code component. So I guess
We're
that
getting
should.
we're getting someone to ask us to use AI to generate the layout.
Okay, well, we can do portions of the components to generate the layout. I guess that should be fine. By
That's
the
right.
way, we have the beta version of the HTML importer, but unfortunately, Asim went out to. He has some health issues, so I haven't been able to ask him how to do that.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
quite ready for showtime just yet, but that could be
yeah,
a subsequent stream that I think's super valuable, as well as our own internal AI pursuits.
yeah, yeah. That would be a nice. That would be a nice separate stream actually on itself. All right. Well, so let's start with the navbar, I guess. We can just use the generic white background with a logo on the left and some links and buttons on the right. Yeah, something like this.
Right, this is just right out of our store.
Oh yeah, yeah, we can just use that. And I guess a banner would be nice on below with some abstract image from Unsplash and
Mm.
some call to
Like
action
hero.
button to submit your work.
What is the website type? It's a marketplace,
Yeah, it
and
is
what we
place.
want people to upload products.
Sort of like templates that you can reuse later on. So like if you can fork that template and reuse it in your like with your content, or you can fork a UI kit or import it into your project and then use some of the components that someone else did. Sort of like a section templates thing that you just used, but from the community.
Great. I got this image from Unsplash. Let's go and add a background image. Paste it in. I should have copied the image address. That should do it. Oh, I think I like the other one better.
Okay, in the meantime, I'm nearly done with the environment keys. Yeah, that one seems a little bit better.
And we want to add some text in here.
Yeah, something like with something saying like Plasmic or community marketplace with a heading and then like a short description, maybe saying like explore the stuff that was done on the community.
Great. Maybe like a H4, H5. Explore templates
Hmm.
and connect with other creators.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then we're also saying like a call to action.
Hmm.
Go explore. Great. Left aligned. I think we want a neutral black for now. Black is the new blue. Maybe also increase the size. This is just all our generic elements and components that come.
Hmm.
Great. We have we're starting to have a hero section here.
Yeah, well, that's a good start. Okay, I was able to spin up the local server in the meantime. So all of the environments, all I did was to fill the environment variables for that example and connect it to the Supabase that database that I created previously. I am uh, I am currently spinning up the ngrok tunnel, which will be used so that we can work simultaneously on the project.
So what are we thinking of next? Sorry, I got in the zone there.
So next, I guess we can switch back to my screen. Let me actually first add the authentication token. Hmm. And clear. Hmm. So I'm not sure, like, if our users would like to see it, but maybe I don't know. Maybe it would be interested for someone. So I we will be what we will be doing now is we will be sharing the app that I'm running locally currently. So I have the application, this Supabase template. I will be running it like this. So yarn dev. I would have another terminal, and in here, so let's close this one. Just create another one in here. In here, I will forward the locally running server so that it's publicly available. Um, and I will send it over to you. So just to make sure that you are able to access it as well. Um, 1 second. And I will connect it to the app host so that it is getting the data from within this public address. So endpoints. So here we go. I've sent it to Slack. And now let me change the app host. So configure custom app host. It should be HTTP Plasmic host. That should do it. Perfect. So, and now you should be able to see that you have the new components in theory. Yeah. If you will go to the components, you will have the code components, which means that now anything that we will be doing from. Oh, I haven't shared the screen.
Oh, I'm still sharing mine.
Yeah. Um, damn it. Uh,
Yeah, I think you might want to explain what you just did, but I don't think it's that important to this subject. It's more of a way to get two people on the same host.
mhm.
It's specific to this stream. It's not necessarily a workflow that other people would need. I'm not sure
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
you're using a third-party tool to tunnel the host to
Basically,
me.
basically, yeah. So the only thing that I did in here is that I launched in the terminal. I have this command called ngrok, and this is how it looks like. So, wait a moment, clipboard.
I don't fully understand it myself, but I'm not a
Yeah. So basically, I have the server running locally on my machine. It is a Next.js server which serves our Plasmic application and the code components that I have here in my code space. And after I launch this tool in a separate terminal, it basically populates everything that exists on my local computer to the web, to a publicly accessible URL. So everyone who has this URL will be able to open the website that I have locally. And this way, if I will connect the app host to this URL, multiple people are able to work on the same project simultaneously and see the code components that I still develop. So this would be very useful for us because I will be creating the code components and you will be creating the styles for them. So I guess with that aside, I also want to mention a few things if you are using Cursor that you probably need to know. So there is this screen MCP, there is this tab MCP. Um, I pre-configured this to using these instructions from Supabase. It's a very easy thing to do. The only thing is that currently it's a little bit broken. So they broke it in the last update. Um, so here is how you would configure it. So you will just open this one. I will not open because it contains my public key and I don't want it to be leaked right now, so that we don't get stream sniped. And you are pasting your personal token in here, and instead of the latest, you would need to use 0.363, or actually 3.6. 3.6, and that way it will work. This is the last working version, which is comparable with the Cursor. I'm not sure what they did in the latest one. And then you are able to use the Supabase functionality tied to your project, to your account from within the chat agent. This will be useful for us because it will automatically create the entities for the database that we will later use to display the data. So, and another thing is the cursor rules. So I have them configured in here. So we've been creating them over the last week or so. So in order to apply the rules to your project, let's say, you would need to either place them inside the root folder and call it the cursor rules and place all of the text that you need in here. So we have the comprehensive Plasmic development guidelines for Cursor, and there are a few moments that you just came up during the chatting with the agent, and you need them to be present in those rules so that later on it does not get the results that are not actually appropriate for you. So common mistakes to avoid, and so forth and so forth. I will be posting that document later on. Um, I will be posting that later on, and maybe some additional tips on how to use Cursor with in conjunction with Plasmic. So another way to do that is the new one suggested by Cursor is by creating the rules folder, but we will not be doing that because it's too complex for our use case. So this allows us to write the components that will be more or less compatible with Plasmic out of the box. I will be using the Claude 3.7 in this example. I guess this is the latest one, right? Like in terms of the coding, 4.1 is not as good as Claude 3.7, right?
My experience, 3.7 has the overall best results.
Mm.
Um, Google's Gemini, I had moments where I was blown away,
Hmm.
and it wasn't as repeatable. So there was a good day where I thought Claude 3.7 was done, and that I'd only be used Gemini 2.5 from now on. And then
Hmm.
it wasn't as consistent as Claude, so I went back and have been happy. But I'm sure it might have been a payment thing, or that Gemini, it was a sneak peek at Gemini that I got privy to in those first few days. And now it might be behind pay to get those features. You might have to have your credit card on file or something like that.
Hmm.
I did finally. I am paying Claude, and that's just so you get as many prompts as you want,
Hmm.
and it's a bit speedier.
Oh, by the way, I'm not sure why I'm not seeing the stuff that you did.
Oh
Maybe,
yeah, that's interesting. Maybe a hard refresh, but I just saw your cursor in the exact spot.
yeah, it's weird. Um, okay,
I would
maybe you need to publish it for me to see it because
doubtful.
no, actually, I even see it here. It's weird. Maybe on refresh arena.
Or
No.
preview? What was it? Show a preview? Oh, you see my nodes in the tree. That's so amazing. That's a bug.
Maybe, maybe, yeah. Well, I still see it here, so it's enough for me. I don't need that one. Um, so let's probably start with the product grid. Um, let's start with that. Oh yeah, some of you noticed that we are going to implement an AI assistant button. I will not show what that is for now. It's a hidden one. We will be releasing that soon, though. So let's start with implementing the grid component for the products. So I want you to create a filterable grid component which would accept the items slot, an empty message slot, and a slot for tags. Items would be filterable by tags, and the component state would store the currently selected tag. Every slot parent would have a stylable container. A tags would be looking like would be like a pills, and they would be rendered by as a repeatable component created in Plasmic Studio. No UI needed, only create the slots and provide the selected tag data as a writable state. So let's see what it would generate. First, it's probably gonna take a while to go through the whole project and evaluate what are we going to have here. I hope it will not start to hallucinate and think that this is an app router project, because sometimes it does that. and it's quite annoying. I added the instruction, but even with that, it's somehow sometimes ignoring it. Oh no, it's working. So what do we have here? It figured out that it needs to be placed in the code components folder. Current tag, handle tag change. Okay, that's nice so far. I don't like per se how it created the stuff to render the children, because instead it should be just doing it like this. Actually, just replace it with this. All right, that should be good. Handle tag change. I wonder how we will actually set the. Oh, we don't need that. But it haven't provided the way to actually populate the state outside of the component. Okay, so we don't need this one. We can just delete it. And let's write a register component meta in the Plasmic host to registrate this component.
Someone's asking if you can zoom in and stay on cursor, like maximize cursor.
Yeah, I think why not?
That's great. Yeah. So what was this that you found a part of the generated code that was worth reprompting?
Yeah, not reprompting. So now, as it generated the component, it's more or
Okay.
less fine. I wouldn't say that it's like exactly perfect. I also see that it haven't created the styles, which we can remove from now. And I also see that it haven't created the register meta for it. There is no need to pass the on tag click function into the tags children because we will set the state from Plasmic Studio. So yeah, we will be using the state functionality of the Plasmic Studio to operate to change the state of the component. I guess for now, what we can also do is we can start to create the product card. Maybe you can just create a component for now, which will have the image, the likes, the title, the tag.
On it.
Perfect. So what do we have in here? Let's see. So it properly got the class. So it will actually it forgot that you don't need to pass the class name to the container, to the root container. It automatically gets in there. He got the container for the tags correctly, for the items and the empty message. The tags type is slot, items, empty message, and the states. It also got the state correctly. Selected tag and the unselected tag change. Perfect. Mhm. So we don't really need the internal state, to be honest. Okay, so I wonder if that would be enough for us to actually add this into the page. Yeah, for sure. I can share the everything that I'm writing in here. I can share it with the people that would be interested in this. Non-prop selected tag. Okay, let's see what it is actually arguing at. Okay. You added the value prop for selected tag and on selected tag change, but you haven't actually registered any props for them. Can you do that for me? This is a loader project. We don't use CodeGen for this. There's really no need for that. Yeah, all of the errors that are showing up in here are also shown up in the Plasmic Studio and in the console. So it's quite handy when you are debugging the stuff. So okay, selected tag is okay. Perfect. It's starting to grasp it. I guess we can refresh it and see if it works now. It's quite annoying. I guess we need to. Can you update the Plasmic app loader Next.js to the latest version? Oh my! It's being so AI-ish. Why does it need to know the version to actually upgrade it?
I'll spend an hour sometimes going down some path with the model, and usually the best thing is to back out and sort of take my learnings from that hour conversation
Mm-hmm.
and try to distill it into a new, starting from scratch. And
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes you can make up that hour in like 5 minutes by concentrating on where it struggles and um, how to be more precise in what you're asking.
Yeah. Can you share your screen now? So, like, I want to see if that actually worked for you. Like, do you see the thing that I'm sharing? So, like, do you see the code component?
So now if I go to my components list
Mhm.
and I have the code components opened here,
Yeah,
should it
it
show up?
should be called filterable grid.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay, you can add it to the homepage. Let's see how it works.
Go to the home page and put in filterable grid.
Does it
And we
say
got
something?
value must not be undefined.
Value must not be
Let's have
undefined.
owner component. Never seen
Owner
that.
component. Value must not be undefined. What? Okay. I think I know what that means. Um, I probably need to. Hmm.
I'll send that error to you anyways, just in case that helps. The classic workflow for prompting models, just paste in the error, the log.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably half of my back and forth.
Yeah. Let me see it. It's just like this. The screen share on my end is quite a small one, so I cannot see it properly. Okay. You sent it in Slack, right?
I did, and I just zoomed in for you. I don't know. Do people see my zooms?
Template must have owner component. What does that mean? Okay.
Oh no, it doesn't do the zoom. That's too
Maybe maybe you need to add it into the into the page, like into the its own into some other container.
Oh, sure. I'll give that a shot. So I'll create a new
Because
section.
yeah, sometimes this can
Page
be an
section.
issue.
Let's make sure it's where I want it. So drop it in there.
Hmm.
Saying try again, but this time, yeah, nothing.
Same.
Same
Okay,
results.
it's interesting. I wonder why I don't see it in my end.
On top of it all, right? Um,
It's like it's super weird. Maybe it's because of the maybe.
I got it in. So
Oh,
dragging and dropping it from the insert menu failed.
ah, that's sometimes happens. Yeah. Oh,
So
hello.
here it is. It doesn't have any styles. So
Yeah, it should be empty for now. So you should be able to create the. You should be able to create the products. You should be able to add the product card into the items. I believe so.
how can I do that like this?
Oh,
I'm going
okay.
to try a
So
different way.
this is a wipe coding tutorial, not the coding one. So I will not be actually coding.
Yeah, here's
Uh,
my card. I'll just put it on the canvas so I can have it. And then I'll go into items and paste it. There we go. And I got it right where I wanted it.
Perfect. So now it actually it's passing all of the items. It's passing the empty message. It's passing the tags, but there is one nuance. So you mhm. Can you check if you have the currently selected if you go to the page data in the state, you would be able to see the state of this component.
State variables, filterable grid, selected tag, nothing.
Selected tag, nothing. Perfect. So now I would like to fetch something from the database. Maybe let's create. Let's look up the. So I will be taking over the screen share as we will now be going into the data fetching part of it. Mhm. Screen one. Uh, do do you see it? Just a moment. Mhm. Okay, great. So let's look up the projects on my Supabase account. Okay, it's connected to the MCP. It's firing the list projects method. And the organizations to figure out which projects I do have. So it's marketplace, Supabase demo. I want the let's use the Plasmic marketplace project and create a new table with the which would be called submissions. Those would be used to store the templates and the components that user will actually be submitting into the platform. So it's confirming which tables already exist in the project, well, so that it doesn't have a collision. Oh, it actually even creates the migration. It's nice. Isn't it?
What's nice is sometimes when my MCP would fail, it would just give me the SQL to go run.
Yeah, it's funny, actually.
Like, I couldn't do it. Here, I couldn't make it easier. Here you go. Just go paste this and come back and tell me.
It completely got it wrong. So the submissions, yeah, for sure, I should have been more. I should have been more. Um, uh, I don't know,
Succinct.
clear with my instructions, because it's thought that submissions is like a form submission. Submissions. Let's now change the fields on the submission table. The submissions in this case is a list of following fields. I actually have the requirements somewhere. Just give me like 1 second. I will copy it.
So I wonder if anyone else does this, all you vibe coders out there. More recently, I've been using whatever model for helping me generate the prompts themselves. And so you shared cursor rules earlier. I'm sure you could also use it for that. It's super helpful. A lot of times you can just chat with one of these models and about your idea, not even talking about a code stack or tools or frameworks. And then at the end of that conversation with that model, then you can say everything we've talked about. Could you now generate some prompts for me? Can you generate, cursor rules or llm.txt, some context? One other helpful one has been the scaffold or the structure, and feeding that all into the context of the code generating model. Right. I'm using a non-code specific model to just have a conversation about my ideas.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Actually, like it's the thing that writes itself.
Yeah.
Okay,
With
so
your help, you're guiding it.
yeah, it now created it correctly from what I see. So we can actually go into Supabase and confirm that it actually did it correctly. So where it is, database, tables. It got the submissions. It also created the categories table, which is nice. This is something I really like. Author email, form ID, status, draft submitted, approved, rejected, metadata, preview images, thumbnail, project link. It got everything correctly. Perfect. So, and now let's populate the submissions table with some fake data. I want 5 5 submissions, 3 for templates, for UI templates. You can use randomly available random publicly image URLs for the images. It's actually way easier than it was before when I was spinning up the databases locally in like I had to first configure the MySQL servers. I would need to do a ton of setup, then figure out how to do SQL queries. Then I would need to somehow populate the data, uh, configure the permissions, make sure that it actually all works, connect it to the application somehow. And now it's like poof, and it's done. And it's actually cool how Plasmic gaps all of this, that you can actually take all of your components that you have locally and then pass it to another person to style it. Um,
We are carving future, product and web building
yeah,
workflows and work styles.
yeah, it would be extremely cool when we will have exactly this thing inside the studio, so that you don't even have to go in between the different. My God, what does it do? Schemas public. There's still an issue. Failed to run. Insert has more expressions than target columns. Oh, make sure that all the fields match what is in the table. You can omit the users, or you can also create a fake user with an email test@test.com. So I guess now, as it creates the data, and I will be doing all of the tedious bug fixing for this thing, so that it finally creates the fake data in our Supabase, and I will probably pass the screen back to you. Uh, okay, so he created the test user, and you will be now able to actually take the Supabase component and add it into the canvas and render the data from the Supabase into that component.
So I'll need to wrap my I'll need to wrap the filterable grid
Mm-hmm.
with the Supabase data provider.
Yeah, can you share your screen?
Yes. So here I have the list of registered code components.
Mm-hmm. Just
Right.
give me a second. I will reload the server so that it has the latest schema of the Supabase, because we are fetching the table schema from the Supabase servers. And when I just added it and I updated the schema. So it needs to run yarn again from my local machine to actually get that change, so that you are able to use the table name in the options of the Supabase data provider. So you can refresh your page now, and that will automatically sync in. Mm. Uh, yeah, I guess you can just, yeah. There's no need to always to re-enter the Plasmic host, by the way. So you can do it now. Confirm.
Amazing.
So yeah, you even see the props that actually changed there.
But we have this bug.
Damn it! So you were working from the local environment, I think, or no? What is this? It's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because the ngrok has some sort of a blocker. Because I was able to use it.
Interesting. Let me try. Right, that's just the preview.
Yeah, it's because the ngrok actually shows this warning initially, I guess. And that's why it's always showing this thing.
Yeah, the
Weird.
ngrok link that you sent me
Hmm.
just goes to this.
Yeah.
Shouldn't it go to Studio?
No, it should be Plasmic host. Like it's fine.
So
Well, I
where's
guess as a way out of this, I can just deploy this project to Vercel and share the link with you. That shouldn't take too long. So, well, as part of this, I can also showcase how to deploy projects to Vercel. Alternatively, it won't take us too much time and would be probably useful for our users. So, okay, I have the add new.
I
Let me
mean, I
share
can
my screen.
make images. It's just not very visually appealing.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Uh, I will for now hit status. I will create a new repository. Let me actually do this. So later on, after you created the repo, weird. For some reason, it doesn't shares my screen when I do it like for the first time. So I created the repository. Let me add the remote. Ah, git remote. Remove remote add. Now, what do we have? Git push origin main. Forgive me for actually doing all of that in the terminal. You can actually do the same exact thing in here. It would be fairly easier with the UI, but I just got used to it. So yeah, okay, I committed everything, and now I should be able to see it here. And I should be able to add a new project. Configure. Yeah, I would need to give the permission to see it. Um, save. Poof, done. Oh, I would also need to copy the environment variables. So, shoot, I probably needed to do that like right from the beginning. Now I'd have to redeploy it again. Settings, environment variables. Okay, cool. And here is the link that we will be using for the app host. Where is it? I sent it to you in Slack. So yeah, just add the Plasmic host in the end and it should be working. I will say when it will be done building. And for now, so I figured out that we will also need to implement the filtering logic. We can do that in. Oh, it failed. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. Um, Environments. I guess you. Yeah, I have the custom scripts in here. Okay, so let's for now focus more on the. Maybe you can fetch the repo and launch it on your local machine. Like, do you know how to do that?
I don't think so. I can git clone a repo. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, you can do that for sure. So that's the repo link, and I will just fix the. I will fix the deployment for now. I
So
haven't
what?
thought that ngrok will actually not work in terms of this one. So I tested it locally. It was working fine. For some reason, it's not working anymore. So yeah, you can just clone it through the cursor, and then you are able to run the yarn and yarn dev, and that should be fine.
I see. This is for hosting.
Yeah, this is for hosting, and then you would be able to host it locally on your end as well. Yeah, there is a lot of steps that need to occur before you are actually able to set up something properly in terms of the data fetching and accounting, like authentication or that stuff. In theory, that's already working on my end, but like if you want to work simultaneously on something, you need to have this bridge, which needs to be without this paid paywall. Otherwise, it will throw the error. It's weird though that I haven't seen it previously.
So now I update the configuration of the project to point to my local host.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, localhost 3000.
/ Plasmic host.
Mm-hmm.
I click confirm. It says it's valid. I think. Let's open it and see.
Oh, I found this install command. It's in here.
Looks like the host app is taking a while to load.
Yeah, the first run is quite a lengthy one. Oh, you also need to have the environment variables. You need to create a file called .env in the root and paste this.
Say that part again. Sorry.
You need to create the .env file and paste the environment variables that I sent you over.
Ah,
Okay, so now it should be working fine. I modified the install command to include the .env file, which is missing. And now it should be working fine. Redeploy. And for now, let's continue to work on this. So items in this case would be passed, I guess, as a currently as a list of the items that exists on the from the Supabase, and then it will propagate down the filtered version of those items. I'm not really sure if that really makes sense to do it at all in here because we can do the same thing in Plasmic Studio, but still, we can do that. Now let's convert the items into the array of objects. Or actually, no. Let's probably better create something else. Like let's create a chart that would be displaying the amount of components added over time. The chart needs to be stylable and it needs to have some animations in it. The data will come from Plasmic, so you will also need to include it in the props. For the data format, look up the submissions table on codebase. Write the registration metadata for Plasmic as well. Okay, deployment is done. Have you succeeded in launching this locally?
I haven't. So let's share.
Yeah,
I'm
so let's then just like use this URL.
okay.
I will also use it. Now it should be throwing me the way to update the local host. Perfect. Yarn dev. So let's see. Can you share your screen? Is it working on your end?
Um, I never got back in, quite back in. Right, I got this. Module not found. Can't resolve database schema. Failed to compile.
My oh my.
And it says the host is taking a while, but there's my local host.
Wait. No, but can you? I've sent you the link to the Vercel application, so you should be able to just copy that. Yeah,
Okay,
and now Plasmic host in the end. Yeah, that should be okay. Yeah.
great.
hmm Yeah, you can delete all existing use cases.
I see. Great. We still have this bug.
It's so weird. Like, what happened to it?
Yeah, the tree. Very strange.
Maybe it's because I don't know.
I think we just found a bug, that's all.
Hmm. But if you go to another page, like, would it be the same? Like if I add the text, let's say.
Yeah. Click my button component.
Hmm. So weird.
Yeah, this one we'll have to bring back to the team and talk
Like,
about how, things are, the canvas is losing.
I think this is something new because I haven't seen it like even yesterday.
Myself, same. I've never seen this before. So nice to have it happen live.
Yeah. Um. So maybe it's because of the way how we are actually setting up the application. Maybe I did something wrong in the register component meta for some reason.
Right. It is strange we have no feedback as to what the error might be.
Hmm. And it's weird that the actual website works. So like the deployed version of it.
Right.
It's like it's extremely weird. Oh, maybe it's because it's not published.
We tried that, and I did publish it after you said that last time. I
Mm,
don't understand. None of that would affect this strange bug of not rendering on canvas what's in the tree.
it says that unexpected error when publishing. Reload and try again. So this might be somehow related.
I'm reloading. I don't think I got an error when publishing, but I'll try again.
Oh, I also need the. I also need the. How it is called? The to set the preview to true. Well, it is true. Weird. Hmm.
So it might be worth explaining to viewers, the workflow that we are envisioning here. Plasmic has had code components for maybe 2 years now,
Yeah.
but it's always been very advanced or semi-advanced. It's
Hmm.
an advanced feature of the Plasmic tool set, um, and that using tools like Cursor or Claude Code or AI code generators, there's a world where you can much more quickly generate and register custom code components to be used in your Plasmic projects. But still a work in progress in terms of completely supported workflows, right? I don't even think anything we did in terms of Cursor is causing
um,
this bug. You know what I mean? In terms of
might,
using AI to generate code
yeah,
components.
it might be something completely else, but I don't really understand like what it is exactly. Um, and nothing is going on in the console, like as if like the data is just not there. And it's the same when I'm trying to access the application from the local host. So it's just not working for some reason. Hmm. What if we will roll back the project for some reason? I know what might have happened. It might be because of the Supabase. It's not the bug in Plasmic.
Hmm.
It's a bug in Supabase. We don't have the logged in state, and as far as I know, it is required. So it does not return anything. This is the reason. Hmm. I will try to fix it right now. But if it will not work, I guess we will have to continue on the next session.
I predict this will be a theme, not
Mm.
the not the breaking part, but
Yeah.
the introducing more AI workflows into the Plasmic ecosystem. We've had AI for over a year, but just as an expression editor, right? To help users generate expressions.
Hmm.
So I think step two is this workflow of using AI to generate code components and registering them with your Plasmic projects. And then I think further down the road is introducing even more AI generation features into the Plasmic toolset. It'd be great to, generate tokens or generate presets.
Yeah. Well, I guess this would happen when we will introduce some sort of a concept of MCP, and we would be able to use the internals of the Plasmic from within the chat agents with some sort of a way. And I think that potentially we are moving towards creating the chat assistant within the Plasmic to actually make that happen.
Yes. And you could imagine in the short term, it will be just generating DOM elements and scaffolding out layout and semantic HTML and CSS.
Well,
But
for sure, we would need to showcase that in the next stream.
yeah,
The to actually make sure that you can somehow introduce the layout and like paste the layout from within your chat agent just directly into Plasmic and then work with it off of that.
right. And those are just basic elements. But beyond that, actual entities that Plasmic recognize, like tokens and presets and components.
Mhm.
That's really what I'm looking forward to be able to generate a new page, for example,
Yeah,
right?
that would be extremely cool.
Yeah, or even a new arena, right? These abstractions that Plasmic has, that AI that you can interface with those abstractions through, not just having to drag and drop
But
and
also by like, yeah.
natural language.
I love how this approach actually connects it makes the code base that is generated from within the chat GPT or like Claude whatsoever, it makes it a bit more maintainable because when you actually edit from when you generate from the generative AI, it ends up being quite scattered, and you don't really have a clear and nice way to work and update your resulting code easily without any tool that allows you to visualize what you generated, because like if you're a non-developer it's hard to navigate across the code, and when you get something visual which can be edited with a set of UI tools, that I guess is way more maintainable.
Right. That's one of my first forays into using AI with Plasmic was attempting to generate everything and only use Plasmic after you've generated everything. So I was trying to go against the grain of Plasmic's use case, that we allow you to, visually see your entire project at a high level and then intricately uh, rearrange and style, drag and drop, add properties, make it interactive. So avoiding that and generating everything through the model, but using Plasmic for its to be able to manipulate what I generated without
Mhm.
having to do that through code, right? A lot of what Cursor and Claude Code and these assistants, Copilot, they'll generate massive amounts of code for you, but then anything that you want to manually do, you mostly have to go down the traditional linear route of opening these text files in your editor. So
Mhm.
what if the subsequent steps were actually done in a tool like Plasmic. Okay, I've generated 20 pages for this huge website I'm working on. Now I don't want to go navigate those 20 text files to make small changes. I want to go to Plasmic and see those 20 pages and drag and drop things around and make incremental changes that traditional way, not the text editor traditional way or IDE traditional way, but the visual way
Mhm.
of the gooey, the buttery smooth infinite canvas that I can pan and zoom and scroll around and navigate through what's been generated in a visual way. That I'm really looking forward to that, right? If you can have an agent generate a button with 100 variants in under 5 minutes, how can you visualize those 100 variants? You could tell you have to know to tell the generator, okay, create a temporary page and plaster those 100 variants in a matrix on those pages. Like that's good just to see it. But you wouldn't know, you have to know to do that. It'd be really amazing to, oh, now you pop into Plasmic and there's that arena with those 100 variants that I just generated in Cursor, or preferably even within Plasmic itself.
Yeah, that's a very progressive thing on its own.
I think someone's asking, so Plasmic to Cursor rather than Cursor to Plasmic? No, I think it would still be Cursor to Plasmic. But today there isn't really a way to quickly visualize what you've built unless you build it and deploy it, or have the browser open. The workflow is chat, conversation, AI agent conversation, and generated code. And maybe you're running the server and seeing that code in local hosts. But like, there's no manipulation of that code beyond the agent or the code generator and the
It's
text editor.
I'm so sorry. It's my bad.
What?
It's like I fixed it. It wasn't the Plasmic issue. It's like it was an issue in Supabase. Uh,
Wow. I'm glad you figured that out.
yeah, so it's actually and Grok was working. It's fine. Like I will reshare it again. So yarn or actually you can just use the same URL as you used previously.
Oh, I see.
The ngrok URL, this one.
Oh, all the way back to that.
Yeah. So let me share my screen. We're back. At least we can finish this.
Well, in the 5 minutes, in the past 5 minutes, yet another code assistant launch. Called AMP out of SourceGraph, where I used to work, and I was the only designer there too. And those are dev tools turned to AI code generation tools. All right, so I'm back in the project. Do I need to change the host back?
You can change the host back to the ngrok link that you have in the chat. And while we were talking, I also created the submissions chart component. So it actually generated the chart that you can observe on the screen right now. So I guess we should wrap it with the component Supabase data provider. So we're able to pick the table names in here. It's called the submissions. For the columns, I guess we will just, what do we need? We need the ID, the title of it, I guess, the date when it was created. And that should be it. No filters required. And in the submissions data, we can have the submissions. Let's see if it works actually. So I guess this needs to be stretched. None. What does it uses for the x-axis? Submissions data. Array submissions objects from codebase. Submissions chart. Let's observe what it actually requires. Submissions data point. ID created at title category status. Title created at status and category. Oh, it works now. So I guess we have 3 charts created at 2025-05. So I want you to create another submission, but the created date should be for yesterday. Let's see if it will work. I'm not sure if you can. I think you can set this from within the static data. So, and now it should be displaying another dot on the chart, in theory. Let's refresh the chart. And did it actually was created? Database, tables. Well, I guess it was created with a status draft, and therefore this isn't why it's not visible. No, that's not the case. It needs the status approved, not the submitted. How about now?
Would it be that quick?
Now it has the 5 items. Perfect. And now let's change the created date to today. 14th of May. And let's say, can I actually update this? Yeah, I can. Let's say 13th. It's weird. It's only having the... And in here, it's not working at all for some reason. What about from the local host? Is this chart working at all? This children of the chat GPT. Can you change? Yeah, you can change the height of the chart. You can change the primary color. Let's say I want it to be black. Yeah, it's also working. Cool. And what about the title style? Can I increase the font size, let's say? Yeah, cool. It's also working.
That's great. I think this was one of the first demos you showed me
Hmm.
on getting things to work. Something similar to this. It seems like it's working even better than before.
Yeah, it seems to be so. But for some reason, it's tracking all of the submissions. By month. Okay, time interval. This is why. It should be time interval daily. It's me. Yeah. So it actually works perfect.
Wow.
Cool. So and now I guess we can actually go to the part of the submissions that we have been trying to do previously, the filterable grid. So as for the items, so we would need to again wrap it in the component called Supabase data provider. The table name would still be submissions. We would need the what? Actually, we can just reuse we can use it in here. So we can drag this section in here. And why fetch the same data twice if you can fetch it once? So, and if we want to have some settings, like if we want to display some items, how your component was called? Product card? Yeah, it is. So, and now we will show how to create a repeatable component. So we have the collection. It's called submissions. And we repeat the element based on this collection. There are 5 cards now. So every card should, in theory, accept the props for the image, for the title, mm, oh, title, and description. So let's set the dynamic value so that it actually displays the prop in here and here. Description. Perfect. And now I believe we can pass the props from here. So we have the current item object. We first need to add the image in here to the fields that we are fetching. It should be called thumbnail, as far as I remember. Thumbnail, yeah. Thumbnail and description. And in here, oh, I see. You're actually also working on the styles.
At the same time.
Yeah, wow. It's amazing. I actually love how slick it is. So, okay, we can set the thumbnail to this current item thumbnail. Yeah, I will have to unset it first. Current item thumbnail. The title would be current item title. Wow. And the description would be current item description. Yeah, it's working. And now we can also have the tags in here. So we will insert the, well, let's say just a button to also work. Make it as well repeatable. And the submissions in this case would be um, filter the submissions. No, actually, get the list of tags of categories from the submissions. Some just additional things for the safety reasons. And now we would be able. You said, could you turn on captions, please? Captions for what? It's
Maybe it's a restream setting.
yeah.
Someone asked what we're using. We're using Restream, R-E stream.
I will try to turn on the captions, but I'm not sure if they do support it.
Yeah, could they be that live? Add closed captions. So
Yeah, where did you find it?
something like that. You have to do it through YouTube, not through Restream.
Hmm.
Yes, it's a YouTube setting. I'll send you the link. That
I'm not
setting.
sure if I will have the closed captions. Mm. Oh, I see. Okay, I enabled the captions for the YouTube. No, I didn't. The heck? Hmm. Maybe I need to do it from the YouTube. Okay, I'm not really sure how to do that. I would have been gladly enabling the captions, but I I don't know how to do that. I will read later on and see. Maybe like for the next stream we will add the captions. So for now, what did I ended up with? So we were creating the tags. Um, Again, we are just selecting the current item in here, and let's make sure that all of our items are not taking the full width. So I will be wrapping them in a horizontal stack. And we will do the layout to the right and add a small gap in here. Sweet. I will also probably add some sort of a heading. Maybe a slightly lighter one. Mm-hmm. Perfect. So, and now when you click on the button, it should change the state. And that state would be filtering the items that you see on the product cards. So for that, let's click on the interactions, add update state, and filterable grid selected state would be set to new value. And the new value would be basically this, the current item. So now whenever we will click on the button, it will change the currently selected categories. And when we go to this repeated product card, we can filterable grid selected tag. Filter these items by the filterable grid selected tag. Make sure to use the optional chaining for safety and a fallback to empty array. We also need to make sure that if there is no if there is no currently selected tag, display all. It's weird. Okay, now it should work. And now let me see if that actually works in terms of the data fetching. I know what happens. For some reason, it works. The data fetching works in the studio, but not. But not in the local host. There is just no data. I guess this is again somewhat related to the way the project is set up. I guess we just need to. Maybe there is a permission issue. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. It should be here. Okay, fetch. It doesn't seem to fetch the data even. Maybe we need to publish it first. Can you share? Can we switch to your screen for now? I want to showcase how you do the styles. Oh, it looks very nice so far. Yeah, adding to the scene. Okay.
Yep. So I've been following behind you and just tweaking as you do the data layering. I'm just applying styles where I see fit. It's a really interesting workflow to everyone out there. We have not really done this before like this.
Yeah, it's a total improvisation. That's why we have a lot of things that went unexpectedly wrong. But all in all, I really like the result. Actually, we can continue. We can continue to maybe work on this section with the analytics a little bit more. Maybe we can, or maybe we can create the form to actually submit the data from within the front end into the database, or we can leave it for the next one because that would be a complex one. So I guess for this to finish the last touches, we would probably need to maybe make a footer and maybe publish this whole thing to the to the production. That would be a nice way to finish this on some logical point. What do you think, Leo?
I tried publishing, but it's also didn't. It's just like preview. The
Mm,
data never. So if you think it'll work,
I think it
yeah.
should work. Yeah, it's successfully saved on my end.
Oh, you were able to publish it and deploy it?
I was able to publish it, not deploy yet.
I
I will.
s-
I
were
will.
we ever able to show the filters working?
I will show it like if I will if I will fix the Supabase configuration so that it actually fetches the data on the client side. I think I know what happens. It's most likely because we don't have the. It's because we have the RSC policy and it's not allowing you to fetch the data from the Supabase.
I see. So how did you want to wrap this up? I didn't quite catch that.
Let's create a footer for this website so that it looks like a little bit more finished. And I'm currently disabling the RLS policies for the table so that it can be publicly fetched, so that it will work in this example because we don't have the authentication per se, and it's why this is why we don't have the data in there.
All right, so I've added just our generic footer, like the other generics.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Maybe a border on the top. We could check the responsiveness, responsive by default for the most part. Didn't, oh, I had a crash.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I relaunched the server. I forgot that you're using ngrok. It should be working fine now.
Glad that there's good reason, that's all.
Yeah, it's me doing stuff. Sorry.
Okay, refresh. There it is.
Great. Yeah, I will probably. I'm not sure if I will be able to fix it like right now, because it's quite hard to fix it.
Yeah, this would be a fun like monthly revisit, you know? AI and Plasmic, just only sticking to that theme as much as possible.
Yeah, that would be extremely cool. So far, well, over the hour and a half we were able to achieve, we let's sum up. So we created a simple landing page with an ability to fetch the data from Supabase. We spin up the Supabase tables, and we actually have the authentication, but we haven't actually did the UI for it. We created the chart component that is customizable, and it has 3 different modes of working. Um, we were also able to create the grid that is filterable by buttons. I'm unfortunately. Oh, you can actually turn on the interactive mode. I guess it should be working in the interactive mode. Can you click on the tag in the interactive mode?
There we go. Aha.
It is working. Yeah, it's just I need to make sure that the data is there. Um, and the only thing is that we need to make a better work of configuring the templates before the stream.
Yes,
But
or
well, I think otherwise it would have taken a day to spin up rather than 2 hours, and it looks really good. So maybe someone from the chat has questions, so we can answer some of them before we wrap up. I guess it's been 2 hours, a lot of information to digest. I will share the all of the data for the how to set up the MCP, how to create the cursor rules for Plasmic, and maybe potentially some of the queries that I've used in this example, if you want to. And yeah, basically anything that you'd need to use cursor with or any other AI tool with Plasmic.
I think the one thing that's clear is the ever evolving landscape of our field, right? Creating products for the web, creating sites for the web.
Yeah.
Like it's getting blurrier and blurrier on how you engineer. For web and apps, mostly web, not necessarily native. I have been tinkering with some React Native and Cursor explorations, and it's really powerful if you have the right stack. I'm a little blurrier on like Xcode and Android and where AI fits in those sort of more sandbox environments. But for the open web, I mean, the tools are just ever expanding at this point. During our stream, another AI code agent came out. So like
It's crazy how they pop up out of nowhere. Lincoln is asking, is the Cursor is the best AI tool for Plasmic so far? Well, I wouldn't say that it's the best one. It's the one that we've tried, and it's not based on some specific agents, so you can use any one, like any that you want.
right.
There is also Windsurf that should potentially be a great one, but any IDE that is connected to LLM would work great. Um, I believe the only things that might not be very compatible with Plasmic are the ones that don't have a lot of like they are not very strong in creating and integrating with the IDEs, like the web ones. They might be not extremely performant in terms of the quality of the code that is generated. That is basically the best evaluator for you when it comes to picking the AI agent for, well, basically for any tool to integrate with.
Right. I think
You
that
need to
it's more model based than tool based, right?
100%, yeah. And maybe like what you actually need to also take a look on at is the way it integrates with other service providers. But it's usually done with MCPs, and most of the IDs have them. I haven't tried Z yet. I don't know what that is. But I
I
would
haven't.
assume this is something like Cursor.
It's more like Sublime Text. It's a native
Mm.
text editor rather than these wrapped web based
It's
editor.
interesting. I haven't looked at, but I'm not sure why. If anyone forked Vim or Nano for using AI, it's like the text editor in terminal that you
Yeah,
can
it must be there. Yeah, NeoVim and Emacs. There must be AI type of plugins and extensions.
for sure.
Yeah, and they
I'm
must
I'm
be
certainly sure about that.
that's why I've appreciated Claude Code a little bit more, because you're that much closer to the metal. Like, you're in the terminal, it has access and permissions, and it's less, the UX is a little more rigid. Like, it's not as easy to just like go back in time.
Hmm.
But if you're using Git and it's pushing you, if you use Git push at the end of every prompt, it'll start doing that for you. So every time it does a lot of changes, like, it'll forget to. It'll also start to forget doing that for you. So like, as long as I found the best tool for this new world is being very good at versioning, saving a lot, because
Hmm.
like I mentioned earlier, you might spend an hour, like you might get some really good um, results, and then you spend an hour tinkering on those results, and a lot of times you might just want to go back, and you can make up for that hour, that wasted hour tinkering, and you can regenerate everything as you want it. There are these tips and tricks along the way. But someone mentioned Zed and someone mentioned Cursor. I don't think it's tool specific. I think it's more model specific. So um, it is
Because
a
the ID itself is like, it doesn't really matter. It's a sacred war of people who use WebStorm versus VS
yes,
Code. There is
yeah,
no correct answer
yeah.
in here, but it's all about the model that is
Right.
actually
There is a
behind
little bit
it.
to the tool, because Cursor is creating these workflows around these, interfacing with these models. Like being able to go back to restore a checkpoint in Cursor, that UX is much nicer than in Claude Code, which is terminal. And you have to say, okay, go back to this commit. And like, you have to do your versioning, you have to handle your versioning much more.
Yeah, I will. I also must say that I'm a little bit hesitant to turn on the YOLO mode, where every command is accepted by default.
Yes.
It's quite terrible. Yeah,
Right.
I'm afraid of where it can actually lead you to. So, and as if I can't relax and actually vibe code because of that.
Right. I found if you package it into smaller prompts rather than asking like, do these 20 things, if you focus on like one thing at a time, and that's asking a lot, because you're telling people here's this new AI that can do these 20 things for you, but no one stops and says it's better if you do one at a time. Like, it'll attempt to do those 20 things, but I think you'll get a much better result if you prompt for one of those at a time.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's quite trendy to. It's quite a trend. I know there are a set of trendy diseases, and ADHD have been one of them for the past 5 years. It's a serious condition. I'm not in any way estimating people with that, but it's like asking a person with ADHD to do 5 tasks at the same time. It is the same thing. Like the AI just starts to hallucinate and scatter all across the places as if it drank like too much coffee and starts to think about the same thing
Right.
over and over again and gets stuck in some processes. So yeah,
Yes.
it's better to focus it like on one thing and not anything else, because it's also hard for you yourself to follow the process of what it generated. Like, it created that file, this file, how they're connected. Especially if you're non-technical, it's hard to follow most of the times. So I like to do it one step at a time.
Agree. That's what I found. Even though it's super tempting to just say YOLO mode, do these 20 things. Much better results when you just slow things down a little bit, and you still get like, a week or a day's worth of work or a month's worth of work in such a condensed period of time.
Yeah.
Um, I'm having amazing results. And I think having tools like Plasmic and other editors I don't think that's going anywhere because people want these multimodal experiences. Just like I don't think conversation conversational UX is the end of AI, interfacing with
Not
AI.
in a single
Right.
way, I think, because if when the moment will appear when the client would be describing the requirements in a clear and understood way, I guess then the engineers would not be needed. But that would never happen,
Yeah.
obviously.
I think people want different interfaces. There shouldn't be a cap to the way we interface with what we're building, right? To go between Figma, Plasmic, Cursor, VS Code. I think that's going to be the reality people are most looking for. Like there isn't just one interface to build.
Yeah.
Right? You might want to go work tinker on CSS variables. So you shouldn't have to know exactly where to go to do that. You might be able to do that through prompting, or you might be able to go to your tokens and manually drag and drop and create folders and do that type of traditional interfacing.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be capped.
Yeah, I think we can answer the last question and sign off. It's been 2 hours.
Yeah.
I guess that's quite a long
Um, yeah.
session. I guess we will continue like soon enough. I guess the next topic for the session can be the form building and submitting the data to Supabase. We can continue from where we left off. Alisa asks, as a designer, what synergy do you see being a tool like Figma, Penpot, and Plasmic?
Yeah.
That's a question for you.
Peppa it's French, so I never know whether I should pronounce the T or not. Pempo, Pempat.
Penpot.
uh,
Yeah.
it's amazing, and I think there's so much room for products like Plasmic and Pempot that are small teams, much more. I think focused on the feature set and what users will find most valuable. Figma is much more of a Adobe type of model, business model, which is a little more hardcore, cutthroat. I still reach for Figma more than anyone because of performance and mental model, and you can't beat sort of the UX when it comes to moving rapidly in that design space. But they're still sandboxed. Figma still exists in a world of their own making. When you create a component in Figma, that is a Figma component. There's no they're trying to bridge the gap, but there isn't a real connection between the component you make in Figma and a React component in your stack. Like that is there's
Well,
still
there
very
is this concept of Figma sites that just released. We actually have an article ready for it. Like we will release it maybe in a few days. By the way, we have a blog and we release articles. We try to do now weekly every Monday, but that sometimes never happens. Well, still, they are there and they are sometimes even interesting. So
right.
next one will be hand-to-hand comparison of Figma sites and Plasmic. I think that this is a nice tool for rapid prototyping. In short, and the main goal that Figma was trying to do here is exactly what you were trying to say right now: is to bridge the gap in between the development and designer workflows. It's exactly what we've been doing for the last 5 years, basically.
But
um,
we stick to truer web analogies when we
yeah.
say an element in Plasmic is an element in an HTML DOM tree.
Yeah, on that spectrum, we are more close to developers for sure, rather than to designers. So yeah, and it's quite of like you can resolve you can solve this gap in between the two worlds by either um, having like forcing the designers to become more technical, or forcing the developers to work in the same tooling and environment as designers. And like the second thing is way easier because creating a tool, well, it's not easier, it's like more desired, because creating a tool that would be easier for both developers and designers is something that is like, well, it's a solution to the problem. But
Yes,
forcing designers to be more technical is sort of like, it's like,
that's what
it's not
we
a
learned.
solution.
That's the exact feedback we've gotten through the years. Designers are very happy in their Figma sandbox. They don't necessarily want the power and responsibility to publish.
Mhm.
So we found at Plasmic that developers that wire up the tools then go to designers and non-developers, marketing people, go to the founders and the executive suite and say, listen, we've wired this up. So if we need to make changes, it doesn't take a full stack engineer to make some of these content changes or layout changes. So I think there's still room. Designers went from not really having any tools. We were using Photoshop and InDesign and Adobe, whatever Adobe Creative Suite we could try. And then we moved over to Sketch, and then we moved
Yeah.
over to Figma. So I don't think
I
that,
also remember Zeppelin in between, somewhere in between. There
yeah,
was,
I think the story needs to continue, right?
yeah.
It doesn't stop at Figma. So uh,
Well, yeah.
even if
I,
they expand what their offerings, I think that's why they're racing to expand their offerings, because they want you to stay with stop. Yeah, we have it all here. We have everything you need. I don't think that's the case anymore. The pen pot, you have a lot of V0, Plasmic. You have a lot of these next generation tools that are just closer to the web in general, the
Mhm.
fundamentals of the web.
Yeah, well, Figma Sites is closer to design spectrum, and they were like sort of able to do that. So the problem that they've been trying to solve, it's solved. Now it's just a matter of rolling out everything from beta, making everything stable, stabilizing the core, the output code, and yeah, that would be a cool tool for rapid prototyping and landing pages. It's like, I don't see why not. Um, okay, so
Yeah.
I guess we can wrap up. It was nice having you, and I guess we will get back in some matter of time when we will figure out what we are going to do next,
Yes,
and if we see some of the interest in the community for these streams.
absolutely.
Uh, Thanks everyone for watching us, and I guess bye bye.
Bye. Appreciate it. Till next time.